2023 Auburn University Marching Band. For your halftime entertainment, we celebrate the 43-year reign of the Speed Metal Kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And now, let's turn down the house and light up the stage for the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
You're back again for another special topic here at E2C Network. Tonight, it's time to discuss some Auburn aesthetics. We're going to take a look at the brand new debut of Auburn Nike uniforms, though I guess you say the very first time it debuts, and look at what you've got coming up. Some things about Yellowwood and all that stuff on the field for Jordan-Hare Stadium. All that's coming up on this stream with a special guest right now. War Eagle, everybody, welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down and talk about that Auburn experience, all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. If it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to do this evening. You see that ugly mug on the screen there right now? You know where we're going. I think I was nice last time, Clint. I got to be.
I should have expected it then.
Should have expected it by now. Clint Richardson is back in the house, Auburn Uniform Database. If we're going to talk about the Auburn uniform, the way things look, the history of Auburn, you know he's going to be here, and we always appreciate his time with us. As Clint, thanks for being here.
Do you?
I do.
Like you do, Kyle.
I do, because I get to crack jokes on you the entire time and just figure out ways to make you frustrated to start off the show every time.
This whole time, like, we got on just a few minutes ago, and he's nice as can be, and then I'm like, is he going to do anything? And he did. He did.
Teeing it up. Speaking of teeing it up, look what he's wearing tonight, folks. Savannah Banana is coming to Plainsman Park. Oh, man.
This was not an accident. So
this is good stuff right here, man. I know that's not even what we're talking about tonight. Maybe we can – I might have you on the show just to talk about Savannah Bananas coming to Plainsman Park.
We can do that. We can do that. But
talk about it.
Let me throw this out first. If you get tickets, please let me know.
I get
pain to get tickets. Anybody out there?
Listen, we're trying to plan. We're trying to plan potentially a late anniversary trip for this. So I'm looking for tickets as well. I need two too. Everybody is going to be doing it.
It's going to be a madhouse,
and it's going to be awesome. Anyway, that's another topic for another day. People are like, I thought this was about Auburn football, and yes, it is. But we got to acknowledge when we've got this stuff here hanging out tonight with us. All right, so we have an agenda here. We are going to be talking about the Auburn football uniform, the very first time debuting officially as a Nike uniform for Auburn football. There are some things to point out, just related to the Nike element of it. Obviously, some special decals to honor the memory of very special folks to Auburn. And of course, as Clinton and I have discussed behind the scenes, as I think he's alluded to a little bit in times he's been here before, a couple weeks ago, you got the big announcement. Yellowwood is coming to Jordan. What did I do there?
What
Jordan.
The heck, Kyle? It's pronounced Jordan.
It's pronounced Jordan. Dang it. Jordan-Hare Stadium. All right, so we got to get into all these different things today. We're going to do a little bit of bring stuff up on the screen, too, if Clint wants to, whenever he'd like to. But is there anything that you'd like to start off talking about, or before we do all that, Clint, about just the Nike uniform? Did it live up to the expectations for you?
Well, I've said it many times on our – what the heck is going on?
Me pushing things I don't need to push. Go ahead.
I've been on here many times this summer, and I told you it was going to be a very busy summer. So now I think everything is officially announced now that I've been teasing. So.
I just noticed a little twinkle in your eye, and there's something that you're holding on to, which makes me very upset at you now.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about either. But
everything that has been teased all summer is now officially announced.
Okay,
thankfully so.
It's all those things too that people have been speculating about. What was going to be the changes of the uniform, what was coming to the stadium, when's the shoe? It was not if, but when is the shoe going to drop? And certainly we're here today, talk about some of those elements right there. But I mean, in reality, Clint, just kind of starting off with the uniform, as we've talked about with them doing the reveal of it, and we did a show about that previously for all the fall sports. Not a lot major stuff to say about the football uniform changing outside of some things that you're going to point out today. And some of these are mainly to commemorate or to recognize special, who, if someone's gets a certain patch, things like that. Where do you want to start? Do you want it up on the screen right now?
Yeah, let's go ahead and bring it up.
Okay,
so,
we'll go ahead and roll over here. So I'm going to pull us out of this real quick, make sure I do this the right way, and then bang. Oh, there goes
No,
Clint.
he didn't do it the right way. I have
it almost. I have it almost. There it is. Sorry.
They're
out of order. They're out of order.
Man, you need a producer or something.
Listen, man, it's tough sometimes. I may even try to bring us up on a different screen here in a little bit, but go ahead.
Well, as we expected, there was not much change of the uniform itself. It was still going to be the same stripes, the same design. It's what we saw in early July when they revealed there were more teasers than reveals, just all the close-ups. But what we really saw on Friday night was the debut of all the tiny details that make up the full uniform. So this is all on auburnuniforms.com if you want to go check it out in more detail. But here we finally got to see Auburn football with the Nike swoosh in action. And I had expected this to take me a couple of games to kind of get used to it. It took me maybe 5 minutes.
I forgot.
That was me. You forgot about it?
I forgot that we changed logos. I'll be honest with you, because it's just not been. Listen, I don't want this to ever come across as like I think it's great that so many people are excited about this change, but it's just not something that I noticed until it's pointed out to me. And I think you even alluded to this too, Clint. No one's, unless you really focus in on some of the things that are thinking about looking at, you may not notice some of these changes, even just the logo on it. But hey, listen, it's the new era of Auburn football. Get used to it.
Well, and as I've been discussing and breaking down all year long, we're not expecting big changes here. It's the template. It's the tiny little details that, how does Nike do it? How does Under Armour do it? What's different there? Like, even just yesterday on my Twitter account, people were asking about the shoulder stripes, that they looked a little bit more brighter, a little more rubbery, as somebody said. And that's simply just because of the application. Like, they're not sublimated into the fabric, and there's not that pattern printed on top of them. We're back to what they looked like before 2015. So 2010, 2013, they were screen printed onto the fabric, on top of the fabric itself. And that's kind of what we're back to now. So you're going to get a little bit more pop in the color with the stripes, which is going to be a nice addition for that. But those are the kind of details that we're talking about with this.
And listen, can I just go ahead and acknowledge how nice it is to start off with that white face mask? I mean, come on. It's the only change I'm a fan of. Listen, the full Stormtrooper look, I know it's the overused term, but even the official Auburn football accounts now are calling it the Stormtrooper look. So we have entered our era.
I don't see black, and I guess we could talk about our passing game, but you've probably already done
Wow. Jeez. But no, if they get the visors on there, you start getting that real true, Stormtrooper look, especially with the white face
and we
mask.
talked about this, in July, but we didn't get to see it this weekend because the last couple of years, Auburn has worn white face mask clips that connect the face mask to the helmet shell. You'll see it this weekend where the clips will now match the face mask color. So it's not going to be a big deal, but it's just going to be an extra little piece of color on the side of the helmets. I don't know how it's going to look. We've seen a couple of, the promotional shots. Curious how that's going to look in action. But on top of that, we got yet another captaincy patch. This is only the fourth year that Auburn has ever worn captain's patches. And it's the fourth different design. It is the fourth different design. So here it is in action. And a lot of people have been commenting that these are actually the best of the bunch. So
why is that? Why do you think that, or why do you think it is?
I don't know. Let's go through it and we'll discuss it. So this is on the Auburn Uniforms Instagram account. And just a quick little history of it. Harsin brought them in 2022. Bright orange background with the blue C, and then vice versa on the road uniforms. These are they're a little too loud. These are straight NFL styled with the rounded C. The NFL captain patches have 4 stars underneath to designate how many years they've been voted captain.
Oh.
So we have a slightly bigger C here. There's no extra space below that. Then 2023, they went to just the letter C. They just took this off of the nameplates and put it on the front of the jersey. Mm-hmm. And what I like about this one, a lot of people don't seem to like this one. I like it because it actually matches. And it's the exact same thing that baseball did during the Sonny Galloway era.
I was about to say, are you going to say the name?
I said it. So this one I always thought was a little bit more subdued, and I liked that. And then last year, we go back to the NFL style C, but now that the background actually matches the jersey. And then you get this year where, actually, let's go back to the close-up shot. Yeah, it's a blockier C. It's also a little bit thinner. It's not as wide as it used to be. So I think it matches the number font a little bit better.
Yes.
And I think it just matches the aesthetic better. Personally, I don't love captain's patches. I think they crowd an already crowded jersey. But if we had to pick, these might be my number 2. I'm still going to go with that nameplate C personally, but these got a lot of attention and people seem to really like these.
Let me ask a question here. This is where my mind goes, because I like to ask why questions and start wondering about that. With the change, it could just be year to year. They want to just try to do different things, as we've talked about with why even a brand just tries something that seems very off the wall. Right. I wonder if part of the new deal with Nike that they can't, the captaincy patch could not be so bold or stick out as much from the Nike symbol, since it's right there. I mean, I know I'm reaching, but I'm just wondering if that could have been part of a discussion for
No, because, somebody else asked me this about some of the other details that we'll get into, but Nike just produces these. Nike doesn't have a whole lot of say in the design. Mm-hmm. They also don't have the say in the design of the helmet or how any of this looks. Auburn tells Nike, make this. Auburn is placing orders, just like you and I would place an order to Nike.
Mm-hmm. Just in bulk.
Just in bulk. There's not much different in that sense, other than we don't know the details because the contract is still not public. But Auburn probably has, credits to spend, that kind of thing. Sure. But people don't realize that as a Nike sponsored school, Auburn still has to purchase this stuff.
Right.
It's not given to Auburn. It's not given to anybody else. It's all purchased. It's all managed from inside. So this is not a Nike decision. Auburn did get a new equipment manager this year, and that tends to be what kicks off a lot of these kind of changes.
Okay.
The last couple of C patches were all under the same equipment manager. I don't know if he changed it, if coaches changed it, if somebody else changed it, but now we've got a new equipment manager at the helm who made a couple of changes, and we'll continue on from this.
Yeah. Obviously, we got a little bit more to talk about here. So we've got obviously the reveal of just being a Nike uniform, the captaincy. What's next?
What's next is that the helmet is actually it's not as branded as it used to be.
Branded.
And I'm trying to pull up another photo, but it's being a little slow for me right now.
Well, isn't that just the way technology goes for us?
It is. So actually, let's start here. The bumpers on the front of the helmet and the rear of the helmet are now in copperplate font. They used to be in just a block font. So we knew that this was going to happen. But what I specifically want to mention in this photo is the chin straps. And I know we're getting into the weeds with this, absolutely. But
that's what we do.
That's what we do. So for the past couple of years, Auburn has had on the upper straps that go under the face mask and tie up, about the temple on the helmet. Those had decals on them that just said Auburn Tigers. And they had the AU on the chin cup. So now the only decal that sits there is the chin cup AU. So let's see. Trying to find.
Is that image going to work with you or not?
It's going to fight me. All right, here we go. Here you go. You can see it. It's stuck behind the face mask, but these decals right here on the strap, these have been removed, and you can also see the block. Branding. Yeah, the block font bumpers. So we're making this a little bit cleaner. Surprisingly, had a couple of people comment that they didn't like the bland look. They liked the extra decals.
I don't know that that's bland. I think that's just a little bit less noisy, maybe, or
I would agree with that.
More sleek looking than it's not not busy is probably the best term.
So let's stick with the front of the helmet. The visors. This is a Shock branded visor, and you'll notice that there are no decals on the top of the tab, on the top of the visor that stick out above the face mask. And the clips that connect it to the face mask are also unbranded. So, fun fact, these clips down here are actually Under Armour clips. So
wow,
we're not completely out of Under Armour, but the thing is, Under Armour visors and specifically the Under Armour clips are considered some of the best on the market. The Shock ones, and especially the Nike ones, are not very well liked. So that's part of what you're seeing here. And in a similar situation, these visors that Jadson Arnold was wearing look like an Under Armour visor, but they're not. They're Oakley branded visors. And you probably saw it more during the game than you see in this photo. There's a pink little tint to it. So
definitely don't see it there, but
they're Prism, and it's just Oakley is the official visor of the NFL, and with that sponsorship came a couple of rule changes where they allowed them to add a little bit of tint. So there's a slight, I think it was like 10% pink bronze tint to this. So it's not much, but there is a difference in it. And if you go back and watch the highlights, you can probably see it very clearly.
Everybody's going to be watching. You're going to see like hits on the stream of all the highlights, and everybody's like, what is he talking about? Oh, there
Devin saw it. Devin saw it.
There she is. Look, we got eagle-eyed people here, so they figure it out.
All right. So now we can swing it to the back side of the helmet.
Right. And this is probably one of the more obvious things back here that they promote.
There's a couple of things back here. So we'll go. It was Tuesday of last week, they announced that a new memorial decal would be added for Brother Chet Williams, the team chaplain who passed away in December. And I like it.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be much.
Power strike.
Yep. I think it's the first, I actually do have a collection of photos on the website for this very reason, but I think this is the first one to use the stripe and be a little bit more than just a simple black circle with the initials. If you paid attention to Baylor's gold chrome helmets, they also had a memorial decal on the back that was just the initials of the player and the player's number underneath. So I think this would have been cool to actually introduce Chet's number that he wore when he played for Auburn.
That's a missed opportunity.
That would have been cool, but I know that they went through a couple of iterations on this design. So
yeah, and I think, let's be honest, Chet was a guy that didn't really want the attention cast upon him. And so I think this is probably all he could probably stomach if he could give us his opinion today.
I would agree with that. So this promo shot that we got last week also showed a couple of small little things that most people probably wouldn't even notice. But as we mentioned, the rear bumper that says War Eagle is now also in copper plate to match the front. The SEC decal now is colored to match the jersey,
which it should be.
Yes, it was 2017 that they added the SEC decal to the back of the helmet. It had been the NCAA pennant, and it had changed a couple of times. Again, that's all on auburnuniforms.com. But for the last almost 10 years, it was orange SEC letters on the blue background. And it didn't make any sense why it didn't match. So now it matches, and it's moved locations back to the left side of the stripe. The last couple of years, just these decals have been bouncing back and forth. And last year it sat on the right side above the warning decal. Yeah. And you can see the U.S. flag is now back on the right side. So these are where I would say are their rightful locations.
Yeah.
So we take that. And you'll also notice that the giant player number decals that sat right where the BCW decal is are no longer there. And they let that out when they did this shot. But the player decal now is smack in the middle of the orange stripe on the back.
Clint, I hate you. Now I didn't even notice that till now. Now it's going to bother me.
And here's a close-up. So,
well, it doesn't look so bad close up. Maybe further back, I didn't like it as much when you pointed it out.
Well, so again, we'll go back to Instagram. And this was a post from this week where we ran through how Auburn has handled these in the past. So the first decals were, of course, the 1958 season with the numbers on the side. And I think we might have discussed this on here before, but those decals on the helmets that from 58 to 65 were the same vinyl cutout numbers that are used on the speed limit signs. So they were black, not navy.
Okay.
And then in 66, they added the AU logo on the sides, and the numbers got moved to the back just right. This might be too small to see.
It's a little. There you go. That's better.
Oh, there we go.
We are really up in the.
Yeah. All right. So it's on the back side of the helmet on either side of the stripes.
Okay. Now, yeah, I can see it even back from my vantage point. I can see it now.
All right. And then in 81, it gets moved right underneath the stripes. This was always odd to me.
They struggle to figure out what to do with this, don't they?
Yeah. And you can see that, like, when you can run the decals all the way under the helmet and loop them up, you can hide a lot of crimes. Can't do that very well here.
No, that's a crime.
And I actually, Kyle, if you could bring me full screen just a second.
Just for a second, I certainly can.
I did a modern take of this a couple of years ago, and it is not easy to get these stripes to sit here very well. So
I was about to say, like, yeah,
that's not fun. I don't love this one.
It wouldn't be a show with Clint if we didn't do show and tell.
Of course.
That's what happens.
Right. You can go back to this. All right. And then 86, they went to the left of the stripe. And then in 95, they moved back onto the orange stripe.
Okay.
And this is the correct way to wear a football helmet, by the way.
That's what I've been told, right? I told that actually it's why we have concussions so bad today is because you're not wearing them properly. This is the correct
Probably.
way. Is this Takeo, by the way? No, that's not Takeo, is it?
No, I couldn't find the player's name on this one.
I was about to say that's 55 is Takeo, but anyway, I was just like, who is that?
So, and honestly, this was the best photo I could find that showed the decal, but it's a navy decal right in the middle of the orange stripe.
Yeah.
But at the very bottom, there's also no rear bumper on these older shut helmets. So that kind of helps. 2005, they moved it to this style with just the small decal to the left of the helmet stripe. And it stuck with this for a long time until good old Harson came to town. And they went to these giant ones.
It's a little little bold.
It's a little bold. It's a bit much. So
everything those 2 years was a bit much.
And then we went to this one. So unlike the Tuberville era with the stripe numbers, these are white instead of navy, so they stick out a little bit more. But
they do stick out a little bit more. I think, it's kind of that fine line. Like obviously we've seen an example just then of too bold, too much, too much. Here it just kind of throws off the orange being in there a little bit. But it's the best out of all the ones that you've shown thus far. I mean, to be honest.
I mean, it works.
Yeah.
If we're going to be picky and go with which captain's patch we prefer, I'm going to pick which number decal I prefer, and it's 100% this style.
Okay.
And I guess we'll have a little trivia. Kyle, why is Cam Newton number 102?
Cam Newton would be number 102 because I don't know. I was trying to come up with it, and it's going to be a struggle for me too.
Because Cam was the second number 2 on the roster.
That Aaron Savage.
He had seniority. He was number 2. Duplicates had, they got to be a 3-digit number in that sense.
I had a feeling that you were going to bring Aaron Savage up, but I was like, I wasn't aware that's how that was handled.
That is how that happens back then.
Okay. All right. Anything else on the uniform?
That's about it. There is a little collection of just all the memorial decals that Auburn has used in the past right here. And if you're interested, we've got the full. What the heck happened there? The full side-by-side updated now with the helmet changes. So those kind of had to be. We were sitting on those for a little while.
We're going to have time at the end here for just some very quick questions with Clint. We're on a little bit of a tight schedule tonight, but we still got to talk about Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Yeah,
and
we got one more thing.
Listen, Clint, you and I we've been privately discussing this, but also I think we all knew in the day of NIL this was coming. And look, you hate it. You may like it. You may just be like, about it, which is probably the majority of us. But it's got to happen. And I'll be honest with you, Clint. I shared with this on the Auburn Experience podcast with Austin that I love the way that they went about explaining why it's being done, why it's being placed a certain way. What we're talking about is the Yellowwood coming to the field. Obviously, if I didn't say that already, thank you.
Did not. There you go.
Yellowwood coming to Pat Dye Field, or being Pat Dye Field, presented by essentially Yellowwood, although presented by is not there. And Jimmy Rain talking about their relationship. So I did appreciate the level of effort that was made to try to to point the attention more so towards Pat Dye and Pat Dye Field. But obviously it's a big yellow banner on our field, Clint.
Yeah. So it's the first advertisement on Jordan-Hare Stadium's playing surface. And it's icky in that sense. But I agree with you, Kyle, that I do want to give kudos to Jimmy Rain, Yellowwood, and everybody who were involved in this for doing it this way. It was just a couple of weeks ago that South Carolina announced their field ad, and it's a local Caterpillar dealer, heavy equipment. Tennessee has Pilot gas stations. I think Arkansas has Walmart. I think they do. So, yes, there are companies and teams that make better matches, whether that's color or just the ethos of the two of them. I don't like it because of what it is. It's an ad. It's a sponsorship. And, some people will complain that we're moving towards the NASCARification of college sports. And LSU is currently, they've already announced over the summer that they are trying to sell a jersey ad sponsorship. And I don't love that either. But
this is just the beginning, folks.
This is where we're going. And when you have to find $22 million per year for profit sharing, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And I think don't let anybody out there tell you otherwise. This is entirely the NCAA's fault.
Yeah, listen, I mean,
The
we all know why
NCAA
this
spent
is.
50 years or more fighting amateurism, and they're like, screw it, whatever.
Yeah, and
It's
listen, here's the
entirely
reality of
NCAA's
this.
fault.
Here's the reality of this. What this comes down to is everybody probably feels somewhat the same way. It feels icky having advertisements on the field. It's going to happen. We'll get over it. It is also the fact that it's just this bold yellow logo. And it's unfortunate that the name is Yellow Wood, because if it was just something without a color reference in it, you could almost put it as something to match the team colors and stuff like that. But you can't, because it's Yellow Wood. It's literally how you have to know that. So it is what it is. He is, love him, hate him, whatever you want to say about Jimmy Rain and Yellow Wood. The reason that you have Auburn football, the reason that you get the resources you do, is because of that. And so if you have a problem with that, I'm going to be looking for you to write a check very soon. And in terms of having a problem with like just being over the top about it, we all agree this is not the preferred method, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I was surprised, honestly surprised, that the comments on my post announcing this and the university's post announcing this were primarily negative. People did not like this. And we see this all the time of just these things that are, let's just call them borderline icky, because I don't know what else to call them.
I can't come up with anything either.
Necessary evils or something. But it's a lot of people will sunshine pump them and like, this is great. And there was some of that, but the majority of the comments were primarily negative. And I was honestly a little relieved by that. Not to, again, and I've told Auburn Athletics employees this as well directly. Any of this is not a personal attack. It's not an attack on Auburn. This is me, old man, yelling at clouds. I don't like it. There's nothing I can do about it.
No, yeah. I think most people who are making this, I think Jimmy Rain understands this, but you know, he's got the way to, once again, if it truly bothers you enough to just go on rants about it, I want to see a check on the athletic department's desk on Monday, essentially. Can I point something out? This is an outstanding comment. Yellow is one of the official school colors, though.
It is.
What a great pull by Unbeaten Lake, that if you want to make peace with this. And why is that, Clint? For those that don't understand why.
I was about to ask you, do you know?
I know exactly why.
Okay, you know this trivia one. But if you look at the logos, go and find that 1999 logo, the Eye of the Tiger logo. Yellow in the eyes. Auburn had to make that an official school color so that they could, control that branding. So yellow, Auburn's official school colors are orange, navy, white, and yellow.
It all just comes together. Well done, Unbeaten Lake. I just got to give you some props for throwing that in here and just tying everything together, because we are talking about a subject that is just not something that we all love. We all face the reality of it. I guess to me, Clint, kind of rounding this off, this is just the first year of this. Do you foresee ever a time where that changes in terms of the sponsor? Or I think most people would start thinking about, Apple would be a great one there as well.
So I believe, and I'd have to go back and read the press release again, but I think this deal between Auburn and Yellowwood,
5 years. You're right. 5 years.
Is it 5 or was it 10?
I believe it was 5. I could be wrong, but I'm as soon as you said it, it sparked it in my head. 5 years. Yeah.
So we are stuck with this for a little bit. A lot of people like to bring up Tim Cook and Apple. Tim has proven that while he does love Auburn athletics, he's going to financially support the education.
Absolutely.
And the academics. So, I mean, I could be wrong. He might be a booster of athletics, but as far as like these big
bold
gifts,
things,
you're not going to see Apple on the stadium. You're not going to see Apple on the field. You're not going to see Apple on the uniforms.
I would believe he has supported in ways that aren't as seen. In fact, I think they announced some technology they used one time for, on the field stuff or on the sideline stuff was Apple something. I could be wrong in that.
Was it the when sideline tablets were available last year?
I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was. And I think there was something.
Because the NFL has Microsoft tablets, whatever they are.
Which would make a lot of sense, and it's a subtle way for him to support that. But you are correct. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see Tim Cook be as outlandish in his giving publicly with athletics.
Yeah.
That's just a gut feeling. I don't know the man. I don't know his giving history, but that's how I perceive all of that.
Yellowwood, though, man, it is here, and it's here to stay for now, for at least for a while, and we're going to get used to it. Can I make a pitch to you, though, from one of our commenters here? And this is referencing the show that you should all go check out, the Wild and Crazy Auburn Uniform Concepts from over the summer. Can we get a scorpion on the field?
A scorpion painted on the field. Let's be specific about these things.
Yes.
I don't want us to deal with a scorpion on the field.
Yes. If you
but
don't
yes,
know,
that would be great. I didn't even think about doing field designs.
If you don't understand what the references are, go back and check out the Wild and Crazy Auburn Uniforms show that we did with Clint, based off his article. You can go check the article out at auburnuniforms.com. There's a lot of history with that. And so somebody asked me the other day, Clint, they said, if you could change Auburn's mascot colors. And I'm serious, Clint. I said, I'm going to point you right over to Clint's article. And I said, when he came on the show and said he was going to make the case to me and I wasn't going to be able to argue it, I laughed in his face.
You did.
And then I got done and I'm like, I have no points. I have no notes. Like I can't argue with this. So I said, it's disgusting. It looks weird. Why does the scorpion just on the surface matter? How did these colors even work? But it worked.
It worked.
Anyway.
It worked.
All right. Any final things that you want to bring up here about the uniform so far? I know there'll probably be more things to come that you'll have opinions on and want to share with people about in the future, but about the field, Yellowwood, anything that we've discussed tonight.
I think we hit everything, and this was a crash course, truncated show, but yeah, I think we did hit everything, but
yeah.
Everything in much more detail is all available at auburnuniforms.com. You can take a look for that and just dive into the rabbit hole that is Auburn aesthetics and enjoy that.
Absolutely. You should definitely check that out because Clint puts a lot of heart and soul into that. And if you're not taking advantage of auburnuniforms.com, you are missing that. We're always going to have Clint here with his Savannah Banana shirt on whenever we want to talk about Auburn uniforms, Auburn history, Auburn aesthetics. And I know we didn't have time for it tonight, but it's going to be a lot of numbers on the sides of the stadium. A lot of new numbers. Not really much we need to say there other than your opinions about it, but
we've talked about that in the past. I'm not upset about it.
Yeah. Listen, it's not about, for me, it's not about fans. It's about honoring the players and the coaches. And we'll let everybody else have.
I saw a good comment on Twitter after the title announcement was made, and it was simply that we missed the boat to honor those players who are no longer here with us.
Yep.
And that hit hard, and I agree with that.
Yep. Now,
we've talked about retiring numbers and claiming titles. I think you can go either way on both of those topics, but I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Changes that whole conversation is when you make it less about yourself, and I'm pointing at me as well, so I don't think I'm pointing the finger at anybody in particular. When we make it less about ourselves and what this was truly meant to do was honor players, coaches, staff, whatever you want to say, that were help make those seasons what they were, it really changes your perspective on it. So there it is. Numbers, decals, honoring Chet Williams. We've got new placement of everything. I mean, listen, there was a lot we covered in a crash course session. Clint, we're always thankful to have you here. As he said, auburnuniforms.com. Keep up with us, E2C Network, everywhere on social media, including here on YouTube. We appreciate you. Clint, thanks for being here, man.
Appreciate it.
Until we talk to you guys again, War Eagle.
War Eagle.